Welcome to a very special episode of Profit Made Simple. Today we have an incredible guest, Mitch Phillips from Real Fitness Training. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be here and to be able to share.
Mate, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. You and I have known each other several years. I want to paint a picture for you. Right now, Real Fitness Training is a 7-figure business. It's built on a unique delivery model, personalization, efficiency. It also has incredible margins. Was this the vision that you always had for Real Fitness Training, or has it evolved into something bigger and better than even you could have imagined?
To be completely honest, we opened 2013. My now wife was my then girlfriend. If, looking back, I think 21-year-old Mitch would never have dreamed of creating what we've created. I think, every gym owner or entrepreneur steps into business with a plan, and I can, hand on heart say we had no plan. We just we had a genuine dream of being able to create a third space for people that where they felt safe, judgment free, and we just kind of went for it.
Love that. Well, let's take us back a little bit. All right, 21-year-old Mitch, version 1.0 of Real Fitness Training. What did that look like?
It looked like 100 square meters in the back of a CrossFit box.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, so one of my clients at the time, I was a part of a franchise PT studio, and one of my clients at the time challenged me on my, I would say, a decline in motivation to be a part of that business. And he said my time had expired then. I should look at trying my own thing. And Vic and I kind of just jumped at it. And I was doing some rehab with a CrossFit coach during that time, and he offered me the opportunity to sublease the corner of his gym, and we did it. And I think with that, we've just always evolved our business as we've evolved as people. So 100 square meters is where we started. We're there for about 9 months. We got it to around 80 clients, just the two of us.
That's impressive.
And then it was obviously time to bring on a staff member. So then we got our first location, which was probably 200 square meters, 220 square meters. We grew that. We were there for about 18 months, took that from 80 members to 180. And then we also hired 3 staff members. And then we reached a point where we're kind of really struggling for space there. And then we took the big jump to create our dream gym at that era of us. So that was going to be our dream gym. And that was 2015. So at its peak, we got it to its peak in 2019. We had 330 clients and just shy of 15 staff. And then from there, we've kind of evolved.
Awesome. We're going to unpack some of that evolution. Is that the building that you're in now?
Yeah, same building that we're in now.
Okay. Now, big jumps for you. You were part of a franchise group as a PT.
Yep.
You've got this little space out the back of a CrossFit. Then you've got your first building and then your second building. Looking back and reflecting back at your early stages of business, what were some of the big challenges that you encountered?
I think obviously leadership's definitely part of that. I think being so young, trying to, I'm 21, 22, 23, trying to figure out myself out as an individual whilst trying to lead a team. At 25, I had 15 staff and had no clue. I'm kind of growing up as I'm trying to lead a team. So my oldest trainer at the time was 37, and I'm 25 trying to lead a team. So, it was just a crazy time, and I think and that continued, to be completely honest with you, up until I had a son. I don't think I really hit my leadership capabilities and my personal growth until my son was born in 2020.
What did you learn about yourself as a leader?
It's a really good question. I think the biggest thing is that I'm going to say that we all have an untapped potential. And I think, at different stages of business, we feel like we reach our capacity, but 12 months later, what we really struggle with and what really stresses us out is now not even a blip on the radar. So I think the biggest lesson I've learned is, being someone that's very goal-orientated and driven by, to a degree, success, learning to fall in love with the process of becoming that next person, that sort of next evolution of myself, rather than being so focused on what I get out of it. It's just falling in love with the process and the journey of becoming who I'm going to be.
Absolutely love that. Now, the business original model was primarily one-on-one. Was that correct?
Yeah. So 2013 and 2015, we were just one-on-one.
Okay.
2015, we opened our bigger location, introduced small group training, which was at that stage 6 people. And that was something we kind of just did to fill a void. We had a bigger space. We needed something to occupy the space. I never really took it seriously, unfortunately. If I knew what I knew now, I would have gone all in. But we kind of dabbled with it, and it wasn't really until 2020, coming out of the lockdowns, where I realized there was a massive gap in the market with what people actually wanted. You look at the lockdowns and how disconnected we were, and we really struggled with connection, and a lot of people miss that. So coming out of COVID, there was I think one of the questions you're going to ask me is my greatest challenge. Late 2019, one of our staff members passed away, and that kind of shook the business. Myself as a leader, I had to lead 12 coaches through that season, plus a community of 330 people. It was really, really challenging time, and obviously COVID happened, and I was quite thankful for COVID because obviously it gave me a chance to breathe and kind of collect myself.
So this all happened around the same time. You lost a staff member.
Business was the biggest it's ever been. We lost a staff member. We found out we're having a child, and then we lost the business because of COVID.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, how did you navigate that? Because that's uncharted territory. You're still a young leader.
Yeah.
You've just lost somebody on your team, which is incredibly tragic. I don't know if you want to share any more.
No, I'm an open book. You know that. It was really challenging. I think for me personally, I'd been exposed to loss a lot earlier than that. I lost my sister and my best friend a few years prior to that, so I'd already kind of walked the grieving process and, understood on a deeper level. I guess I've had more challenges than most people will get in their lifetime. So I those moments earlier on led me to this pivotal moment. I would say, I had, for a better choice of word, I had the reps in dealing with, trauma.
Yeah, that's a lot of trauma for a young guy. So you'd been through that grieving process. Not that you know what to expect, but you at least had some kind of understanding.
Yeah, and I think from there, I've, not trying to be too much ego, but I think I've naturally had a bit of a gift when it came to leadership and being able to sort of guide and support people through challenge. And I think that season of business really made me who I am today. 100%.
I get it is in the greatest challenges we encounter in business. It's when true leaders really need to rise the most.
The cream rise to the crop, right?
It is. It's when you see it's easy to lead when everything's going well, right? It's like a sporting team. It's easy to be the captain whilst you're winning games, but it's 100%. When you're having these incredible challenges and obstacles are flying at you left, right, and center. What did you do to galvanize the team, the community, to work through that? Because that would have come as an awful surprise to many people to lose somebody close to the community, within the community itself.
Yeah, I think we kind of, to a degree, was how could we unite everybody?
Yeah,
all of a sudden we had a common mission, which was legacy. Something we do with all of our staff members when they start with us is we have them create their own purpose and mission statement. And when we're going through his stuff, we found his purpose and mission statement, and we made sure that everyone knew what that was, and they had something to strive for and work towards to help fulfill his legacy. And then obviously post that, there was a bit of charity stuff we did around charitable stuff, obviously, and that just united everybody and gave people a common purpose to work towards and keep his legacy going.
Going back to the model itself, so you were fairly early, really, when it comes to the industry itself and a small group training, but you said you were dabbling in it. So it was there, but it was on the periphery. It wasn't the core product. It wasn't the hero.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, my background was one-to-one, and that's all I knew primarily. And
when all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
That's right. So, I couldn't fully comprehend it, and it's taken, I would say the last 3 years, it's kind of come into its own light. So it took us about 3 years of refinement to get it to where it is today. And my intent from the outset was to how do we create personal training in a small group setting? And that's what we were trying so hard to do. And I don't think I know, people can walk away from our sessions today and feel like they've had a one-on-one experience. And that's, you're talking 2015 was when we started. It's now 2025. That's 10 years of refinement. It's a decade.
Yeah, you got a really unique model. And I want to dive in deep here because I know our listeners are absolutely going to love this, because what you've seen is you've seen a gap in the market. You've seen also what the consumer wants and also what they need.
Yeah.
Right. So on the one hand, they want to feel like it's personalized, tailored to them, their needs, their biology. On the other hand, you want to create an environment where there's social connection as well. You spoke about isolation, particularly during COVID. So you've got this small group model. Let's get into the particulars on that. All right, because there's lots of versions of SPT or semi-private training. There's many different ways you can skin the cat, right? But yours is quite unique, right? So what would you say are the hallmarks of how you make it unique?
I would say that, I think as, at the end of the day, my DNA is coaching, right? Like I'm a coach through and through, and that's something I've always done and may always continue to do. I think sometimes we get so stuck in the bias of what we believe clients look for. And, like what's the program look like? What exercise are they doing? Like all that sort of nitty gritty nuance of stuff. But at the end of the day, they don't really care. My opinion is that fitness is a byproduct of what they get in our business. The biggest thing that they get is our coaching. Everybody knows fitness. Everybody knows they need to move more, clean up their diet to lose weight, right? But the thing that they lack is accountability. So if you ask me what we actually do is we specialize in coaching and accountability. That's the difference to our semi-private model.
Okay. You've said a few things that I'm going to challenge you on right now. All right. So you said that they feel like they're getting a personal training session, right? How do you make them feel like they have a personal training session?
Well, people just crave connection.
Yeah.
They crave relationships and they crave a degree of relatedness. So like the relatedness comes from the people they train with. Like you've got Mary and Joe, similar age, similar circumstance, kids, family, overcoming the same things together, right? So that's the relatedness. Relationships we kind of layer it over 3 tiers. You've got, the peer-to-peer, so like people starting at a similar journey. You've got alumni, so we've been open 13 years. We've had clients all 13 years. So they're kind of cheering you on from the finish line, giving you a different perspective. And then you've got the coach, which is the accountability component. So when you look at like how the experience is crafted is, when we look at like the structure of the actual program, the exercises are regressed and progress based on you as the individual, where you're at in your journey. And the volume is modified based on what your body can handle, your biology, where you start, like what's your training age. And then obviously the coaching and accountability that we do away from the session. Because at the end of the day, you and I both know exercise is 4% of someone's result. It's a stimulus, but it's not your result, right? From a health and fitness standpoint, your results come from the other 96%. Your recovery, your nutrition, your stress, your sleep, your lifestyle. And that's our focus point as a business. Like, yes, we deliver a fantastic product when you're in the gym, but it's what we do for you away from the gym that actually counts as well. And that's where the personal training component comes into play.
Ooh, okay. So a lot of people would define personal training as that individual standing over me, spotting me, palpating, reading out the program card, where your version of personal training is the coaching and accountability that we give outside of the session itself. The session's still spectacular. It's very professional, but it's how we support that. Would you agree with that, my overview?
I would agree with your overview. I also think like the degree of which we can personalize a session on the fly is still personal training. So like if we were to define what a personal training session would look like, you can probably assume there's some free weights, there's some machine weights, things are tailored to your capabilities. Any client that walks into our gym will have the exact same experience. They use hack squats, they use pendulums, they use leg presses. So they have access to all of these machines. They get free weights, dumbbells, all that sort of stuff as well. So yes, we have a whiteboard session that runs across our 9 classes a day. But if you walk into it and you say, you know what, I can't squat today. It's like, okay, what can our modification be where we're still hitting the squat pattern? So you're still getting that degree of personalization in the session. And also at the end of the day, like my business targets specifically Gen Pop. We can safely say that most Gen Pop people have similar problems. We all live similar lifestyles. We're very sedentary. We have desk-based jobs. So the issues we face posturally, quite similar. So, our programming will cater for the majority And then obviously we can give the little variations here and there for people that need it.
Yeah, okay. Now let's talk about the coaching and the accountability. I'm really interested in this because a lot of people have a strong fixation on the actual session itself, where you've almost switched the paradigm and you're like, how are we supporting them best outside of the session itself? So what does that coaching and accountability look like? I'm a client. I obviously come to my sessions, but that's only one part of it. What's the rest look like?
So all of our clients are on our app. So we have a bit of tech built into our business where, we set them up with lifestyle habits at the start. And, at the end of the day, not many people don't need cheerleaders. They need people that are going to genuinely care and check in. So that's what our coaches do. So every couple of days, I'll check through their clients' logs and see what they're doing, how they're trending, how they're tracking, and obviously have the critical conversations based on that. So if someone's not in the gym, they get a phone call. Hey, you've missed a session. Where are you? That's a level of care they have. If their apps become inactive, the same thing happens. Hey, what's going on? How can I best support you? So obviously, through our business structure, the other thing that's unique to our business is we don't do casual staff. 90% of our team are on full-time wages, which mean that obviously throughout they have set structures to their day and they have set KPIs around coaching accountability that they have to deliver on.
Yeah, okay. So the accountability is done not all, but digital technology drives the accountability. And then there's the human element that will then personalize and customize the communication based off the back of that.
Correct.
Your coaches must be very good, or they must have an ability to have the critical conversations and actually be a coach as opposed to a cheerleader. How have you created that standard and cultivated that skill in your coaches?
Reps. We're very heavy on our staff development. We spend on average, I'd say probably 5 hours a week together, whether it be through performance-based meetings, team meetings, or staff development.
Yeah, it's a lot. 5 hours a week is a lot.
It's a lot. It's an investment of time. And someone's always like, but what if they leave? I'm like, well, what if they stay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's such a silly question, right?
Yeah.
It's just well, they can have a far bigger impact on my business whilst they're in the business itself.
Correct. So essentially I've been almost 2 decades in the industry. So we have systems and playbooks around what coaching accountability looks like. Every staff member is taught how to deliver that. And then from there, it's just essentially competency and motivation in terms of their performance.
Now your ratios are 10-1.
Correct.
And I find, again, people have a definition of what semi-private should be, shouldn't be. And they go, 10-1, that's actually a group, that's not semi-private. Yet you've done this incredibly successfully. How have you done so with the numbers a little bit higher than, say, what some of the listeners may be used to?
How have we done that successfully?
Yeah.
For us, it's been an evolution. So we started at 6, we went to 8, we went to 10, we went to 12, we went back to 8, and then we settled on 10. It's all a large portion of the number is what we can fit into the time block. So our sessions are 45 minutes. And it's what I suppose it's my belief as well, is what I believe the caliber of coaches we have can handle in a session. And don't get me wrong, our average experience on the team probably sits at 5.5, 6 years.
Yeah, so
we have a very experienced bunch of trainers. And then from there, it's my responsibility as a leader to develop their skill set to be able to handle that 10 at the end of the day.
And ideally, if I'm a client, I'm coming in, am I doing 2 of these small group sessions a week? Am I doing 3? How are you supporting me outside of that?
Yeah, so our clients will do between 2 to 3 sessions a week in the small group. So it's either they'll do 2 small group or 2 small group in a PT session. So we still have one-to-one. The one-to-one is for those that need a high degree of accountability and a bit more support, where they might find that they're not as intrinsically motivated. So they need a bit of more external accountability. Away from that, we run community classes. So our big goal is we try to have our visits at 3 a week. Yeah, so all clients that come in 3 a week, that's as you know, it's a magic number. So if they're not, obviously they hit their 2 small group as a non-negotiable. Yeah. That is the standard that our coaches will meet. And then from there, we coach up into other classes. So whether it be doing a bit of, we run core and Pilates classes, we do, sweat sessions, yoga, stretching, breathing, all that sort of stuff. So it's from there, it's find out exactly the pain points of our client and what sessions are actually going to solve their pain points. right? So if someone doesn't need a sweat class, why would they do a sweat class when they might benefit from doing more yoga?
So it is tailored.
100%.
That prescription of, hey, here's the small group, but here's how we're going to complement that with our community classes, which are just larger classes, which they get access to as part of their membership. We're going to make this bespoke to your needs and what your goals are.
Correct. It's powerful.
Very powerful. I have so many more questions on this because we are diving into the weeds and I hope people appreciate it. Let's talk about the nutrition element, all right?
Okay.
Because there's no doubt your clients are coming in and they don't want just guidance on training. They don't want just support and accountability when it comes to an exercise perspective. They also want some nutritional support as well. And a lot of businesses struggle with this. Do we get in an external dietitian? Do we do meal plans? Do we do meals? How do we combat this need? How do we resolve the nutrition dilemma? How have you guys done so?
At the end of the day, we know like energy balance is what's going to drive weight loss. There's 3 ways someone can be in an energy balance. Right? It's like food restriction, it's time restriction, or it's tracking. We explain this to our clients. So we take them through a thorough onboarding where they essentially get to pick what their means is. Obviously, primarily, most of our clients will do some form of food tracking because, in my opinion, it's the best form. It gives us consistent feedback. It allows us to readily see their kind of nutritional choices and how we can obviously support them with education. But for us, is like, food tracking is probably how I'm going to best put it. And meal plans don't work in what's the success rate of someone doing a meal plan?
Yeah. So it's just getting them to be consistent in that habit.
So it's like all app derived. It's like lifestyle habits, there's going to be a degree of food tracking. There's going to be a degree of external movement to the gym. There's going to be attendance to the gym. Obviously some form of nervous system regulation, because obviously that's really important in a day and age where stress is heightened. And then, it might be a couple of different habits that are personalized to them, whether it be like water, sleep, other things.
Fantastic. Now, one of the key stats that I remember from our time together, actually a couple key stats. Number one is you held on to clients on average for 22 months and the lifetime client value was over $11,000. And I remember that so clearly because they're unicorn numbers, right? $11,000 as an LCV is enormous. Now, that's based on 2 things. Number one, you charge a premium rate for a premium service. Number 2, they stay for a really long time on that premium rate. So what have been the keys to retaining people for a really long period of time? And you said there's been OGs that have been with you several years, probably coming up to a decade plus now, right?
Well, I've had clients since I started as an 18-year-old trainer. So it's a good question. I think first and foremost, like Vicky and myself, we just genuinely give a shit.
I love that you said that, right? Because there's all these, technical answers to it, but it's like if you actually seriously care about someone, the value that holds
is massive. It's massive.
There's almost nothing greater than how much you can care for someone.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, like personal training or any form of coaching is relationship driven.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking out the back and I said our retention is off the charts.
Yep.
And it is. Clients stay with us for a really long time. And if you were to ask me why, do we have the best coaches? Of course. Do we have some of the best strategies? Absolutely, of course. But the number one reason is we give a shit more than anybody else.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You just got to care.
Yeah, you just have to care. Yeah.
So obviously, like you've got the care factor, which is massive in my opinion, but then you need to have retention-based strategies in your business. And that's something we do really well. Away from the strategies, I think it's really important. You look at the team. I think the team you hold is everything. And the fact that we have a team that's genuinely bought into the vision, mission, and direction of the business pays dividends in the fact that we have really good retention. I think sometimes in the fitness industry, I've been doing this a long time, and my personal gripe is it's very transient because no one's really giving coaches a career. They expect them to live really good lives on casual wages and no stability. It's like you can't buy a mortgage as a casual employee. So the fact that we have so many of our staff on full-time wages that are above industry award is a testament to why our clients stay, because the coaches now care as well. They're bought into what we're trying to create, and that's massive. Obviously, away from that, you got strategy. So like we pull an attendance report twice a week for our community. If they're not in the gym, they get a phone call. So, you're talking 72 hours of no attendance, they're getting buzzed by a coach.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Because we know that attendance is a key driver of retention.
It's use of product.
Right.
We get them attending more, they're going to stay for a lot longer.
100%. And then obviously results. So if someone's not getting an outcome in their first 6 weeks, we know that they'll leave at the 6-month mark. We have the data. Like we've tracked this. So for us, that first 6 weeks is pivotal in how we onboard them, the outcomes we're able to achieve, and how sticky we can make them within the community. So are they attending events? Are they coming to classes? Do they know people within the gym? Do they know all the trainers? And then away from that, like, again, I'm biased because I own the business, but a client walks in, they get greeted by every staff member. Everyone knows who they are.
Doesn't matter whether it's their client or not.
Correct. Names and stories is something we pride ourselves on. So every coach will know their client's name and a bit about them, a bit about their story, their history, why they're here. So when someone walks in, it's literally their third space. They've got work, they've got home, they've got RFT. That's why they stay. They stay for how we make them feel.
Big point there. They stay for how we make them feel. And that's what's led to just, unicorn numbers, as I said, from an LCV perspective. You talked about team, and you said one of the big gripes you've had within this industry is that we have contractors, we have casuals, and then we put our hands in the air and we wonder why they're transient, and we wonder why we've got all this churn when it comes to the team itself. And then we also wonder why aren't they doing their world's best work, but they might have to have 4 or 5 jobs just to kind of bring in the equivalent of a full-time wage. So one of the transitions that you've made is they're almost all full-time staff.
Yep.
So it's less, not more. I'm sure it didn't start out that way.
Oh, God, no. God, no. I mean, the greatest growth I've had as a leader is in the last 4 years. And that's just because I've found beer rooms to put myself in, where people have challenged me on my beliefs and held me to higher standards. And then obviously forced me to level up, which means I'm a believer that the team you have is a reflection of you. Right?
100%. It's a mirror.
It's a mirror. So the standards you hold and who you are as an individual is who is going to surround you. So, the most work I've done on myself has been this last 5. Well, obviously being a dad was pivotal in that. You know, becoming a father was a massive turning point in my life where, I've got a 5-year-old son now, but the man he becomes is a reflection of who I am. Right. So I've gone deep in this last 5 years on really trying to elevate myself and my personal standards. And naturally, my team has changed. We 2023 to early last year, we pretty much went through a transition period in the business where a few staff left, and then late last year we had a whole new team. But that whole new team was a reflection of my new personal standards.
So they were coming in at a higher level?
Yeah, higher level. I expected more of myself, which just meant naturally everyone is held to a high standard. I was going to go somewhere with, I lost my train of thought with that. Just circling back, 2019, I had almost 15 trainers, all casual. And I probably didn't need 15 trainers. I know we spoke outside around the flex of the industry. It's we flex on the stupidest metrics. We flex on how big our team is. We flex on how many sites we have. We flex on what our revenue is.
How big the site is.
Right, but none of those metrics truly matter.
They don't.
At the end of the day, we all get into business for a reason, and I think a lot of people think it's money. But in my opinion, when you really delve deep enough, it becomes about freedom and what business does for you as an individual. And, I got in it for impact, and over time, it started as impact as in I want to help change someone's life and help them, become a better version of themselves through PT. But as I've evolved as a person, it's now impact for my coaches. What life can they live? What goals can they accomplish? What can they achieve through my support and guidance?
Yeah, that's great self-leadership. It's a really good example of that. Is you hold yourself to higher standards. As a result, people see that, and like attracts like. Right? And
100%.
So now people that with similar standards are going to be attracted. You're a magnet for those kind of people. They want to be part of your team.
Yeah, 100%. I think as business owners, gym owners, part of the reason why we transition to semi-private is because it's more resourced. You spoke around margins. Yes, the margins are better. With one-to-one, people are only going to they're only going to pay a certain amount per hour for a session, right? Which means you're essentially capped at what you can pay a staff member. Group training, obviously you need a high volume of people to be profitable. If you don't have that metric of that volume of people, if you're not profitable, you can't really be resourced enough to pay your staff what their worth might be. Whereas obviously semi-private, you earn a far greater per hour rate, which means you can obviously pay your staff more, pay them better.
Yeah, so the model itself has been huge for you because you can actually then take that greater margin. It's I'm just not going to line my pockets full of it, but I'm actually going to reinvest in my team. I'm going to make sure that I reward my team. I'm going to make sure that I attract top tier talent. And so the business model is not only important from the client perspective, but from you as the leader, it allows you to attract and retain the best possible talent.
100%. My team are my product,
Mm.
not semi-private.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's why we commit so much time to developing our coaches, because they are our product.
Mm.
And the better we can lead them and support them in their personal goals and ambition, the better they deliver, the better results they get for their clients.
As long as I've known you, you've been extremely growth-minded. You said you've raised your standards, you've put yourself in better rooms. How important has mentorship and seeking out other people to learn from been to you?
It's massive, man. It's everything. I mean, like, you're never going to know everything. Mentorship allows you to shortcut the process.
Mm.
What I've learned now, 21-year-old Mitch would never dream to know what I know, but I only know that through the people I've learned off, and obviously I'm at a stage in my life where it's like, I want to be able to give this information back to others. And no 1 year of business have we not had support. We're 12 years in now and we still have a mentor.
Yeah. Every single year you've had that
every
external support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though you've got the 7-figure business, highly profitable, built massive teams, you've still got that outside eyes looking into the business.
I mean, like, at the moment, I've got a spiritual mentor that's helped me on my personal evolution and my personal evolution. Then I've got a leadership coach who helps me with my leadership.
And what's the biggest lessons that you've learned from your leadership coach?
I'd say that the biggest one is definitely consistency.
Mm.
I still train a handful of clients and they're very successful in business themselves, and they all tell me the same thing. You've just got to be consistent. Like, there's no magic bullet. It's just doing the reps and becoming really consistent at that. Away from that, it's standards. It's like the standards you walk past are the ones you choose to accept. So rather than walking past a hard conversation because you just can't be asked, it's like, well, that's not the standard we hold. Let's address it now and move forward quicker. So I think, obviously working with leadership coach it's been almost 3 years now. The biggest thing that the wisdom he's given me is exactly that, is like, have those hard conversations, because at the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to the coach by not having the hard conversation, because feedback is vital to growth, right? So, if they might not know any better.
It's actually selfish if you don't have the conversation, because
100%.
you care more about your feelings than you do improving that person.
100%. So it's like, don't walk past poor standards, address them, and you elevate them. I think sometimes in business, like, the concern is how we're going to look,
Yes. You work with your incredible wife, Vic.
I do.
You're obviously business partners as well.
Yep.
How do you juggle the personal and the professional?
You'd have to ask her that. She'd probably give you a better answer. I honestly think, again, like, it's all I know, right? So, like, we started working as colleagues together before we got romantically involved, and I think for us it's a blessing. I think, one of the questions you were going to ask me, which I'll answer now, is like, what's the best bit of advice you have or have received, or something like that. And it's got to be the fact that the greatest decision you'll ever make is the person you marry or your life partner, right? And I think, 21-year-old Mitch was blessed with this incredible woman to walk into his life, and, together we've built a dream life together. And I don't think the life we have now would not be possible without her. She definitely holds me to a higher standard. And she's shown me so much of myself that I wasn't willing to look at as well. And I think having a partner that's able to challenge you, support you, is massive. So I think we're truly blessed that we get to do this journey together.
Do you find that what the professional side can sometimes bleed into the personal, or the personal can and affect some of there might be a bias, it may affect the decision emotionally, and how do you navigate through that?
Yeah, I think obviously, like, we're 12 years in now of business. I think as we've aged, me more so than her, I think as we've matured as individuals and done the self-work, we've been able to hold better boundaries. Obviously, younger versions of us, our business was our life. Like, it bled into everything. But as we've grown and evolved and obviously started a family of ourselves, we've been able to hold better boundaries. We've been able to keep work at work and keep home at home. And, I think it's just an evolution thing.
Mm.
You never get 100% right on the time all the time, but we don't chase perfection. We just chase consistency.
Yeah, that's a core theme.
Funnily enough.
Yeah. John Maxwell would say law of the process, just consistently applying the standards every single day. You talked about some of the best advice. Is there any other advice that you'd like to share with our listeners, people watching the episode, that has been pivotal in your journey? Because you do have something truly extraordinary. You got an incredible business that's making an amazing impact and providing a better life for you, for Vic, for Byron, for your team members, and also all the community members as well.
I think the biggest thing is Vic and I have enabled ourselves to be exposed to so much consistent feedback through whether it be mentors, coaches, or just our community as a whole. So I think sometimes we can really take feedback as a criticism, but it's how can you find the opportunity and look at feedback as a gift? The more you are open to feedback and the more you're able to receive it and treat it as it is what it is, you're able to better move forward faster. So I would say be more open to feedback and not take it so critically.
Love that. It is the breakfast of champions, and we have to see it as an opportunity to improve. And we need to accept it with an empty cup. And sometimes our instinct can be defensive. I know mine is. I'll speak for me.
100%.
I'll push back on it,
100%.
but I'm I'll catch myself now. I'm getting older and wiser and grayer.
See the awareness piece, right?
That's right.
The awareness piece.
Yeah. Now you mentioned something. I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the future for you, Mitch Phillips, future for RFT. And you mentioned something earlier that may give us a little clue into the future itself. You said, I want to start giving back as well. So let's talk about the future. What does it look like?
I think for me personally, the small group model has changed my life as a business owner. I think, it's allowed me to really chase impact and have income. So the model itself is a very simple gym. And I believe that it has profound impact on what people really want to get out of a gym. Most people want freedom and they want to have a good life. And small group training gives that to everybody involved, the community, the clients, the coaches, and the owners as well. Away from that, I think there has to be a shift in the industry on how we treat and hire. My personal mission is to make it more professional. The fitness industry shouldn't be different to any other industry. We put staff on casual wages and without any stability or structure. We don't really invest in their growth, and then we complain that they're not doing what we want them to do, or they're not buying into our vision, and it's all on me kind of thing. There's two big things there. And for RFT, our mission remains the same, is to impact 1,000 lives every week. And that's what we're driving towards.
How can you, Mitch Phillips, make the industry more professional?
I think it's probably a 2-piece answer. I think the first piece is obviously supporting gym owners to create better models. I think sometimes we get stuck in the wrong metrics. I think sometimes our business models aren't built for success. I know we've spoken at length around the confines of one-to-one and the limitations behind large group training. I think semi-private solves a lot of issues. It has for me, and I think more people need to be exposed to the model and the nuances and understand of how it obviously can support them. From a coaching standpoint, I think it's helping coaches understand what the name of the game is. It's relationship driven. It's people obviously you and I both know personal training is it's expensive, right? Which means we're dealing with a higher caliber of clientele, yet we're not changing our professionalism. I think there's definitely a lot to be said around, coaches, rather than trying to win social media all the time. It's get good at your craft, understand coaching and accountability, understand habit formation, do the basics well, and you'll naturally win. You don't have to win Instagram. You know what I mean?
It's a very contrarian idea when you have a look at a lot of the advice that's been sprouted at the moment. You've got to, obviously build this following, and that's where a focus can be. And it's just be amazing at your craft.
I can challenge. We opened in 2013 to 2019. We did no paid advertising.
That blew me away when you and I started working together, and you're I didn't run ads for 6 years, and we grew to 300 plus members, premium members.
My ethos has always been build an amazing product. Build an incredible experience and people will come in their droves. People will review, they'll refer, they'll stay. But if your product is shit, no marketing or sales strategy is going to fix that. Become good at your craft first. Win that and everything else takes care of itself.
I do want to just, before we wrap up, I do want to talk a little about the marketing side, because you've got this incredible product, but obviously a lot of people know about the product itself. And it is a more premium product. We were talking outside about the 9%. You heard the episode and you're like, oh, wow, that blew me away. How have you been able to attract a lot of that 9%?
I think the standards we hold in the business is the fact that we are very professional. Like from our consultation process, our onboarding, the way our coaches are trained to answer the phone and deal with inquiries. It is a very professional entity, which just naturally means we're going to attract a higher degree of client, I guess. Yeah. In terms of what they're looking for. Do we specifically market to them? I would say no. Like attracts like. Yeah. We hold a very high standard in what our product is and the delivery of our product, and I think people can see that and they're just naturally drawn to it.
Yeah, I think if you jump on RFT's website, and I'll tell people to do so if you jump on your socials, you can see that it is a very professional, higher caliber product. You've got a ton of Google reviews and social proof.
Yeah, over 300 now.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, we're lucky. Luck is where opportunity meets hard work, right?
Yeah.
I think, like I said, when you focus on your product and you're helping people achieve the outcomes they have, they're going to naturally refer and review.
Yeah, and you can see that. There's going to be a lot of people here that go, that was a powerful conversation. It sounds like a really interesting model. It sounds like a really interesting and different way that and perspective that he has on building teams and employment. How can our listeners and people watching get to know you and RFT a little better?
Obviously our socials at Real Fitness PT is our Instagram. My personal one is at Mitch Phillips, I think. I probably need to be better at documenting my own journey in terms of...
You definitely do.
In terms of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. But they're probably the main two.
Awesome. Guys, connect. Mitch is an unreal guy. I've had the pleasure of knowing him several years, working with him. He's got a great brand. And as you've heard from today, he's got some incredibly contrarian ideas and insights that have served him so well to build something truly special. So Mitch Phillips, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time and contributing your wisdom, your journey, your story on Profit Made Simple today.
I appreciate having me here and I hope the listeners got some value.
Of course they did. Guys, if you did get some value, then make sure you let us know. So if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up or subscribe. If you're watching it or listening to it on any of your other favorite podcast channels, make sure you let us know, all right? Make sure that you let us know what was most valuable for you and how was it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, listening to today's episode of Profit Made Simple.